Hey, Ivo, how are you doing today?
Great. How about you? I know that your sore throat is there, but be strong. A little bit of warm liquid will help a lot.
Yeah, must be that time of season, getting a cold. But hopefully, it's a good thing we're doing this remotely so that I'm not contagious. Um, Not getting you sick or anybody else who's joining us today. Thank you for those of you for coming in to ADC Live. Today we have a topic discussing LumApps templates, content type templates. We're going to talk about some pro tips of the week, what we're excited about, and we also have a trivia question before we begin. So, without further ado, pro tip of the week. So some of you might know this, some of you might not, but a good way to kind of avoid routine tasks is to have use global widgets. Now, obviously, as you know, LumApps right now has micro apps. It has extensions, right? And those are obviously involve a little bit of stand-up work. My global widgets are a little different. The use case of global widgets is if you have one specific activity, one specific experience you want to create, and you'd like that experience to be very consistent across all the pages, you can just create it as a one global widget and put it in any page that requires a specific experience. The good thing is that if that experience needs to change, right, the color, the some kind of design elements, some kind of text elements, it's a one and done approach. You change it once, it'll be updated throughout all the pages that use that global widget. Global widgets are for sites only, so each site has its own global widgets. You cannot use one global widget on a different site. You just kind of have to recreate it, which is very easy to do. But an example we have is just a simple back button. So here, if I go away from the presentation, I go here. If I go to any kind of news center or news article, I can choose really any page that I want. These are some of these are spaces. Let's see what would be a good one to choose. Let's say maybe wiki knowledge base. And so here I have some extensions. So I don't have a back button here, but what I could do is I go back into the edit mode, and I'll add a global widget here. Very simple. I already have one created, so I want to add a back button. I have two instances. I have a back button and a back button black. So this is more for dark mode. It's more for light mode. So I'm going to choose this one. There it is. I added it here. And just like any other widget, I put it up. Let's say I put it up on top, right? And then I save. And this is a JavaScript back, right? So wherever you are on the page in the experience, that's where it's going to take you back to. So, for example, here I would just in the back office. So if I were to click this button, it'll take me back to the back office, which is what I don't want. But say if I navigate to Q&A support and then go back to the wiki and knowledge base page here, and go back, click this back button, it'll take me back to Q&A support. So and then I did obviously edit anywhere else, on any other page I can edit here, anywhere else. And again, once I update that widget once there, it'll update anywhere. It's very simple. No real code required to create these widgets. You create any kind of experience you want. You can create time zones. You can create other custom buttons. Any kind of thing that you can think of, you can really create and make that as a global widget. And speaking of, so what we're excited about, so we have, I don't think we talked about this much, Evo, right? So we have what we call the ADC Advanced Toolbox bundle. And unlike the LumApps Toolbox, which those of you who are LumApps subject matter experts obviously know LumApps Toolbox is it's a custom tool that exports data, and it allows you to import certain data from users to directory entries to pages, page updates, metadata, all those kind of things, right? Obviously, Linux has gone a very long way to try to get away from it with their new custom designer, custom. They have a new advanced manager in the back office that allows you to update pages at scale, update authors. But that's the legacy toolbox. Here, for us, what we call it the ADC toolbox is really not related to export any kind of data export. Really, what this is related to is the experience of making some page modifications. So we have a few use cases here. I actually want to focus on one specific one, but we have So media mover, you can move media files in the media library, documents, PDFs, move them around across different folders on the site or multiple sites, move change content layouts, copy contents, or really copy contents across different content types, and also copy space homepage and community homepages. So in this case, let's say, for example, I have a very nice page, and let's say I have this homepage, right? Which I have here, and I want to create a copy of this page of this homepage somewhere else, right, on a different part of the site. Now, so how do you do it? Obviously, um, you can go ahead and templatize it and recreate it, but the use case here of copying it, the clear use case is I want to retain all the analytics, all the data behind it, right? Because if you create a new homepage, you lose all the past data that was original to this page. So let's say I want to take this homepage and I want to make a new page, let's say my news center, which is this. I want to make it look like that homepage. Not a great use case, but I'll just do it for a demo, unless you have a better use case in mind.
That's
But
great, actually.
let,
I
let
think that's
in fact, you can do this across sites. That's the cool thing about it. So you select the source site, so content layout mover. That's our ADC site, and the source content is going to be our homepage. So that's our home. I think this is this one. Then our destination site. We have a bunch of different destination sites. I'm going to keep this one for, I guess it doesn't matter, but select a destination content. So let's say we have the news center, this one, and let's find it here, news center. Okay. And now it's going to say we'll be moving the content, really copying the content of home to the content of news center. So let's make sure this is the right homepage. Let's click and see. Perfect. That's the right homepage. So we're on ball here. And let's go ahead and do copy. And I'm going to go ahead. Now, the reason why I'm doing this on content type pages, because on spaces or communities, there's no version control. So if I do it, I can't really revert it. With pages, content type pages, you can revert. So great. So now we've copied. Now the content has been copied. This is the new center. So let's go back to this new center page. Now simply we'll do refresh. And so here you can see this is still the new center page, the same URL, but now very cool. Looks like the home page. Wow. I think it's a very cool use case. And the data is still the same. So you have all the analytics that you had historically with this new center page. It still retains. I think it's something really to be excited about, because for anybody who's a community manager, wants to update homepage, update layouts, or any page layout, not for that matter, not just the homepage, right? This is a great way to do it without really impacting any of your past data or that specific page. And because this is a content type page, if I wanted to, I can always go back or really edit this page, go to version control, and simply click the last version, which is this one, and go ahead and revert, restore. That's restored. I'll save. And without impact to any of my pages, I'll X out. And here's the new center back. So thanks you for creating this extension. I think it's a very valuable one, and one that I personally am excited about, and I know a few of our customers are as well. So about ADC, we are a LumApps partner, and we've been working with LumApps for the past 5 years as a partner. You and I have a LumApps background, about 8 years, right, Ivo?
yeah, a long time ago. I think that yeah, we were very young at that moment in time, right?
We were young, LumApps was young. Everybody was young, right? Uh, um, So we're kind of here to help with the experience, solve the experience problem on the enterprise, whether it's integrations experience, design experience, strategy experience. Really, that's what we're here to do. So we're SME in LumApps, all facets of LumApps. Our presence in the marketplace, we are a tech partner, integrations partner. We have 35, I think 36 extensions now. I couldn't fit all of them.
And counting.
Accounting, right? Accounting, not including micro apps. By the way, not including micro apps are a very low-hanging fruit, very simple. These are more advanced extensions, deep integrations that we've done. Micro apps are just not even on this radar right now. But this is just deep integrations and that we've done specifically with LumApps as a product without the micro apps. And for a full list of our extensions, We have our docs, our public ADC docs site. This is a LumApps site that we built in LumApps. All of our extensions, our 30 plus extensions, you come here, check it out, go to docs.adc.dev and click on search all widgets, and you'll find all of them. And you'll probably find one experience that you need. And if you don't, let us know. We'll have to create it. Okay, here we go. Um, this now we're getting into the templates, and we have our trivia of the week. Ivo, ready to hit it?
Yes. Can you
So
hear
again,
it?
yes, questions we're going to ask you about templates, and I'm going to go in. This is our advanced survey extension. So let's go to our learning development space, and this is where we have our lesson. Look at that, Ivo is recognized. Uh, so 1 second. Oh, you seen the answers? That's not good. I'm not to hide those. But okay, so we have LumApps template trivia. Which of the following is not a LumApps content type template? Is it fixed layout template, a fixed widget template, enhanced simple template, or easy template? Which of these four is not a LumApps content type template?
It's too small. We cannot see that on the screen. That
Ah,
is a huge problem. Should I answer?
Ivo, do you have an answer? I'll
Uh,
wrong answer. That would be great because
the
we need a wrong answer.
the enhanced simple template.
Ah, okay, great. Let's go next. So now it's like question number two. Select all the following which can be templatized. What can be templatized? So content type template, content page, space community, article, or community. Which of these can be templatized?
I say everything in this
Uh,
case.
Let's do let's do this one, the first three. Maybe that could be.
Okay.
And then finally, Luminous templates can be inherited to subsites. True or false?
That must be true.
True. And let's see.
Well, at least it would be great if LumApps was supporting such a feature. I mean,
I hope so. I hope so. So let's see how we did. Ah,
oh,
so answers to the following. So enhanced simple template. Your answer, well, I did ask you to choose your own answer, which you did, which is great. The right answer is easy template. That is not a Luminous content template. There's no easy template. They're all easy once you know them, but really the three ones are fixed widget, fixed layout, and enhanced simple template. Really, there's also simple template version. That's in the older legacy, but I just didn't put them here. And then select all the which can be templatized. So content type pages, spaces, and communities, community home pages, all can be content templatized. Articles cannot. And of course, Luminous templates can be inherited to subsites with the inheritance feature. So great job.
well, that is a quite important feature. So yeah.
It definitely is, especially for global customers who need to have it. But
Yeah,
um,
especially when they have many sites, like our customers, right?
exactly, exactly. Exactly. It's but of course with the ability to copy contents, copy page layouts or space layouts, I think that really helps solve the problem because sometimes these template inheritance templates can be a little confusing. So content copying can also help in this case, especially with space and communities for these. So without further ado, let's go into LumApps templates and just kind of do a quick overview before we get into the product itself of LumApps templates. So there's really in the content type itself, you have kind of four, I would say it's four experiences. And it really depends on the kind of governance model you're looking for your contributors, right? Do you want to give them a lot of control when they create, like me? Do you want them to add new widgets, add new rows, new cells, right? Or do you want to create some limitations, right? And there's also obviously pros and cons to each. If you're interested in giving them full control, then obviously they'll go to you less for, hey, can you unblock me from adding a new widget, or can you unblock me from, adding new cells or to modify the overall layout? Because that sometimes for folks who are, power users, it is important to have full control, right? To have more of an unrestricted template version where they can do everything. The downside to that, or the con to that, is that the more degree of control they have, the less consistency and design consistency they potentially will have, and that might or might not be an issue for you. For example, if we have customers who have a bunch of spaces, a bunch of communities, right? And of course, in spaces communities, you really can't set up restrictions for home pages like you can in content types. But that's actually works really well for the teams and the manage these spaces communities because they like to be creative, right? They like to do kind of the look and feel, add certain things, add animations, experiences that they want. And because the work doesn't really care so much about consistency there. It's more about freedom, right? And making your space your own, which is great. For landing pages, there's a different story. If you're developing, if you're an owner for, if you're like a enterprise owner for a specific set of use cases around departments, specific departments, right? Functional pages, location pages, you might want to think about having consistency and certain restrictions, because when a user, let's say it's a location page, right? And I'm traveling from location A to location B, and I go to location B, as a user, I'm kind of already used to the way the location A page looks. That's like my location, let's say Philadelphia or New York, right? If I go to Phoenix or California and I want to go to the location page to check out the cafeteria or whatever it is, I would want to see the same layout, right? So in that case, right, where you are creating multiple pages and you want to have a fixed layout so that contributor creators have less control, you would choose one of these fixed widget or fixed layout pages. This way, they really cannot do much besides really add content, add certain page metadata, right? And that's it. And that's really where the main differences are. So it really comes down to degree of control versus versus flexibility and consistency, right? So unrestricted, this type of template allows you to do pretty much everything, right? For the user, they can change every single thing in the page. Fixed layout, it means they can add widgets, right? But it'll say if you have two columns on the page, they cannot add a third column, right? They can only stay within, they can add rows, right? But they can't really add new columns. They can't play around with that. They can add more widgets, but they can't really change the actual layout of the page. And fixed widget, it means that really they can't really move the placements of these. They kind of must work within that page layout and the widgets provided. Um, and all these are essentially locked on the page. And finally, you have the simple mode. And there's a legacy simple mode, a new simple mode now, which really allows you to kind of work on the front end experience more. It's more like the article contribution, very simple, very clean. And what LumApps has done, which I think is really great, they put the admin contribution. You still have so in the old simple tablet, you really were locked in. You couldn't, if you had a links widget before, you couldn't really add links. If you had a user list widget, you couldn't really do that. Now Linux unlocked a lot of these possibilities, but they just made it in a different way. So it's still simple. It's still simple from the perspective of a user experience, but you have certain admin controls in a different way, which we'll look at today.
Misha, I would have one question. Excuse me. Well, maybe you are going to treat that in the follow, but I'm very curious because it's quite important for an organization to delegate. So in that case, for example, you are the site administrator for LumApps, right? And you want to have the possibility to delegate, let's say, the communications manager for the engineering, I don't know, but you wanted to delegate the possibility to use a template to create content on a very specific portion of your site. Can you use something like roles to restrain the access to the templates or to create content on a certain portion of LumApps?
Yes, you can definitely use roles to kind of decide who can see which types of templates in the template manager, right? Um, and you can, and obviously the role really, that's a great question because the role of the person really, it depends on what kind of strategy you would pick. If somebody on the comms team, right, who's creating news, you typically would want to have a fixed widget layout, maybe even a simple layout. So they don't need to change things around. They just have a simple, consistent look and feel. Um, and then you give them one or two templates that they would want they need to use. They would not be confused because as an admin, I'll probably have 5 or 10 templates, right? But for
Sure.
you only want to see one or two that they require. So that's a
Yeah,
good
of
question.
course.
So let's look at some of these templates at LumApps and inside LumApps. So here I go back to my page. So what I really like here, so say leadership corner is a very popular one, creating leader announcements on your page. You know, you might have a whole slew of leaders, like thankfully we do. We have Evo and Ariella and myself, who sometimes we contribute. And let's say in your case, you'd want somebody to go assist my leader landing page, and I create these different announcements. Now let's say I would like to have this page templatized, and I would want a comms person, a comms director, to really create these pages. So to templatize a page, the simple way of doing it and the recommended approach is really first to have the page created, right? And usually in another CMSs, sometimes you're creating a template first and then creating a page from it. But here, the best experience really is to create the page, see what a page looks like, and then once you're happy with look and feel of the page, with all the design efforts you put in, then you go in and you actually make the page as a template. So here, I like this page, and I'm going to go into the 3 buttons. I'm going to create set as template, and is going to take me to the template addition. And you see this already changed the layout of the page slightly. So title goes away, but all these widgets kind of stay. They're consistent. Generally speaking, for a page, for a template, you want to obviously clean up some of the content. I'm just going to leave it here as is. But generally speaking, you probably want to clean this up or add some instructions here for the user. So here we have a couple of template properties. So first of all, the template name. So this one will be a fixed layout template. So this is where the user will not be able to add any new rows. They can only add widgets, right? Let's say I'm going to make, and we'll see a difference between each one of these. So I'm going to say this is leader news, leader. So this is Misha announcements. And here we have other properties. You have this template can be heritable. So if I check this, it means it'll be inherited to a child site. And then I have to set up several configurations, make sure that the site that I want to be inherited in is mapped to this parent site. So that's where this inheritance feature comes in. So very good. Those of you who got the answer right, can templates be inherited? That is absolutely 100% correct. You can. And then we have this feature, usable by. So who can actually use this template? So right now it's all. But let's say, for example, I want to restrict it to, maybe I'll just do, let's say, IT. Maybe I'll just choose Misha for now, or New York. Okay, whatever it is. So I'll just choose one like this, right? So I don't want everybody to see it. I only want a certain role of people to see it. And then you have other who's going to be able to see pages created from this template. It's visible by. So usually that's all in most orgs. And then you have some metadata that you want to attach to this. So here, for example, tags metadata option. This is a leadership announcement. And then a news type. So this is a leader news, leader blog, Misha's blog. So I'm going to put this is going to be baked in directly to the template. This way, when a comms person comes in and they create content, these metadata are already baked in. So it's less effort for them to really go and start creating these. And then you have some custom classes, identifiers, if there are any, to make that if any were added to the site level for these types of pages. So here I'm good. I think I'm done. So I'm go ahead and save this template. And now I'm going to go back, exit the template mode, and I'll see in my global news content type under templates. Now I have 3 templates here: Misha announcements, default news, and town hall. So now I'm going to go with this test user, and I'm going to go here. I'm going to refresh this page. And on the global news, we have only one, right? Why is that? Because this user doesn't really have access to create this template, not yet. So we're going to go back and update the rights. So this user can, let's just make it all, keep it simple. So all the users will be able to see it. And now once I update, then I'll be able to see that now I have this Misha's announcement. And so now I create this template. In fact, I want to clarify Misha's announcement. This is fixed layout. Fixed layouts. This way we know which experience this is. And let's just refresh. Fixed layout. And we go here. So now, as you can see, I can add widgets, right? No problem. Have the button set widgets. I can even drag them around if I want to, right? It's no problem as well. I can delete widgets if I want to, right? I have all these controls, but as you can see, I cannot really do more than that as far as control, as far as layouts, etc. And but I still have other experiences here. Now let's say if I'm going to go back, I'm going to make this as a fixed template, fixed widget. I'm going to, with this user now, I'm going to go back. I don't want to save anything. I'm actually just going to go X out. I'm going to go back to the editor. Now I'm going to make this as a fixed widget template. Let's make it fixed widget. Update the name so that we know it updates in the admin console as well. I'll update here as well. So new, now we see fixed widget. That's updated. Now I go here, and now you'll see a big difference. Whereas before, I was able to drag stuff around. Now I can't. See, I click it, but nothing is draggable, and I also cannot really uh, add any widgets here as well. The only main difference is I still have all this editor console on the left side. But for the purposes of page layout consistency, it's all going to be consistent. There's no issues. This usually is good enough. Now we're going to see a difference. And really, this simple mode is now, I think it's almost really the same as fixed widget mode, except because it gives you the same exact capabilities, but they're in a different way. So we're going to see what that looks like. Now I'm going to click on simple. And let me actually go see now it's simple. And here, now let's do publish content. 1 second. Let's go back. And let's see. Second. Okay. And draft builder writer. Okay. And publish. Save. Okay. Now we save template. Let's just call this simple. Simple template. And then back to edit. X out of here. Now let's X out of here again. And what you'll see is, go back here, simple template. I have a cleaner experience like this. This is a great experience. Why? Because it really resembles the new UI of LumApps. It's really like an article now. And the best thing is here that if I want to, I can still go into some of these extensions, and I can modify or make some updates to them in the extensions that really are that are relevant. For example, in fact, I know I didn't add any, but let me add to this just for argument's sake. Let's go here. Let's edit. Let me, as an admin, I'll add a links widget just so we can see what that looks like. I'll do a links widget experience just in case. And then we will, and you already see here, right? So I'm adding it. I can, the module is here. Is the same. I have the links creation here, links management, so I can add new links here. And really all the style of this page, of this widget, appears as a pop-up, which is a really great thing. So I can also add, if I wanted to say user directory, user list, sorry. Let's add user list. Right, same thing. It's a great experience. You can go ahead and add user lists, add anybody else, any folks here that like the leaders or well, simply by selecting these from the pop-up. So as you can, and lastly, and in fact, let me just go ahead and publish just for presentation so we can see it. Publish. We can now back to edit so you can see with the other user. Now, if I go back here, So X out, and re-enter, then recreate the template. So now I have some of these widgets here. So links, I can add links here. Some kind of a URL, google.com usually works. Okay, and then new URL, and just add something here. And just like that, now it appears here. Same thing with the users you can add. Now the cool thing is here as well that you have the other options in this in the template for publication. So you have really the old metadata that was really in the fixed widget mode on the left side. Now it's really here. So you have the title, URL, right, which is really reflects the title. You have the tags, you have the metadata, right? You have publication, you have expiration, featured if it's a featured one. So really, you have almost everything here as a in this mode. You can change modes. You can make it as an expert mode. This is this is um, more for this is going to be reflecting LumApps' new experience where you no longer need to have a fixed layout, but you choose from expert. There's really going to be two modes going forward. I think designer and expert or something. I think those builder or designer, something like this. These three will be eventually changed to two. But as the expert, you still have this really great, easy, simple article layout type, right? But now in expert mode, you now can add layouts, add new widgets. If I wanted to add um, uh, these links to the side, right? I can go ahead and do that. Here, it's not a problem. Just you gotta have to tweak around a little bit and just go ahead and add some of these things here and here, right? And then you kind of have all these kind of obviously it's going to be a new template, so you play around with it. But the point is, you can change modes with this new simple mode addition. You can go and really eventually the roles will help define who has access to which to writer mode or builder mode or expert mode. But the point is, even as a writer in the most basic mode, you still can access and add. You still have widget settings, pop-ups like this, and you have page metadata settings here, right? That allow you to configure, update metadata, and update groups, etc. And I'm sure you remember, but way back when in LumApps had this metadata selection widget, which was like legacy. I think it's now is deprecated, obviously, but it was such a big pain because customers always wanted to use simple mode, and I always wanted to use it. But then you had these limitations. Well, you can't select metadata in simple mode, right? Or you can't really do this stuff. You can't add your custom links or user lists, right? And there's all these limitations, which I'm so happy LumApps finally addressed. And this is not new, by the way. This has been addressed for at least a year now, but it's just a really great add-on. So that's it for the LumApps templates. Ivo, do we have any questions or anything that to address?
No, for me that's okay. But I'm sorry, but I'm really impatient about the future. So what's going on for the next episodes of our ADC live?
Thanks for that. That's a good question. So next episodes we have first we have LumApps user directory special. So talking about custom attributes, from your ATP with Evo, building all the user directories and custom templates there. Um, then we have on November 26th, groups versus segments, which is right for you. We'll look at both of these. And finally, on December 10th, look into December already, hard to imagine, almost New Year. We're going to talk about how to custom configure your search page and look at some of the experiences there. If you have native search versus you have Coveo, what are some of the customization options that are available to you from LumApps? And lastly, please don't tell us what you think. Come take our survey like you've seen. If you're watching on the Hive, go to the Hive, tell us what's useful, and I'll simply go type in partner ADC in search. That'll come up. You'll come here, click to take the ADC survey, and just tell us, how we did. Tell us what you like to find, maybe what topics you like that are more relevant to you. We're more than happy. Maybe you want to come on the show. We're more than happy to have you.
Yeah, that's very important to have a feedback. Thank you very much in advance.
Okay, so thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Ivo. And we will see you next time.